Happy Pride!
Happy Pride Month!
As a gay couple, we wanted to share our thoughts on Pride, and what it means to us just overall as a society.
I hear it and I know, I know you wanna take me home, and get to know me close,
Ba-dum. I am what I Happy Pride!
Happy Pride Month!
Hi everyone! I'm Ray.
And I'm Rob.
And it's Pride Month! As a gay couple, we wanted to share our thoughts on Pride, what it means to us individually, but also as a couple, maybe what it means just overall as a society.
And yes, a little disclaimer, we're sharing basically our thoughts and opinion about Pride. We won't be able to cover everything, but just wanted to share from our own perspective what Pride means to us.
But it's not all serious stuff. We did get to go to LA Pride and WeHo Pride, so you'll be seeing some highlights from that. We got to watch Kylie, so that was fun. Let us know what you think about Pride and how you get involved in the comment section. So yeah. Okay, on that note, shall we roll the vlog?
Yes.
I'm Ray.
I'm Rob.
Enjoy watching. Happy Pride!
Happy Pride! This month, we were able to actually participate at the LA Pride Parade in Hollywood. We saw a lot of families join the parade, a lot of nonprofit organizations that we're familiar with, some we're not familiar with, a lot of companies also joining the parade and celebrating Pride Month. As well as some familiar faces. It's actually nice to see some community members, some friends that I've worked with in the past, and just a nice, wonderful Sunday celebrating Pride in our community.
Yeah.
Caught in every moment. I see the sun on your face. Hopeful eyes keep 'em glowing. Yeah, I love you more than words could say. There's nothing you could do to stop my heart for you. Just keep your head up high. Sometimes there are things you don't understand. Broken roads, faded dreams. Been trying to find your way in. I'm seeing your tears, I'm hearing your cries, but know that I'll never leave your side, even in the change. I won't walk away. I promise I'll stay. Yeah, I promise I'll stay. If you could see what I see, the lonely nights overcome, you'd be proud, yeah, believe me. You'd be proud. This child you've already won. Yeah, there's nothing you could do to keep my heart from you. Just keep your head up high. Hold your head up high. I know sometimes there are things you don't understand.
That was fun.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that. That was really cool. A lot of people turned up. It was just a day of celebration. Did you enjoy it?
I did. I've been on the road for the last 3 years, also with the pandemic, and so it was nice to finally be able to participate during LA Pride Parade again.
Yeah.
And yeah, had a great time.
But not one, but 2 prides in a week. So
Back to back.
back to back. So actually before that, We were at WeHo Pride. WeHo, short for West Hollywood. We were there. That was super fun too. Got to kind of experience a bit of the street fair, but also there was a music festival happening at the same time. And actually, what was even nicer was we got to experience it not only with our LA friends, but also our friends from London who were visiting. So a friend of ours who is gay, we made sure he got to experience WeHo Pride. A friend of ours, very last minute, was like, hey, do you want to watch Kylie? And we're like, what? What do you mean? It was like, Kylie's coming on at the music festival. Do you want to watch it? We were like, yeah, sure, we'll watch it. And literally 2 minutes afterwards, well, maybe 5 minutes afterwards, he came around and he was like, right, come on, let's go. We're watching Kylie. She's an icon. I mean, she's an icon, full stop.
Thanks, CJ.
Thanks, CJ, for the tickets. I mean, I can talk all day about Kylie, but I think it's just better if we watch her, don't you think? Should we watch her?
Yes.
Roll the highlight reel. Ba-dum, ba-dum.
Hope you have the best Pride Month ever. And I hope you're excited for Kylie
When you call my name, it's like a little breath. I'm down on my knees. I wanna take you there in the midnight hour. I can feel your power, just like a prayer. You know I'll take you there. Kylie, 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 Kylie. We have. Spinning around, move out of my way. Let me take you on a midnight ride.
Isn't it awesome? We get to be together. We get to all be ourselves.
And the stars came up, fill up the sky. The music you were playing blew my mind inside. At first sight, 'cause baby, when I heard you, all the lover that I've gone before. WeHo, I love you.
It's time to cut out.
I hear it and I know, I know you wanna take me home, and get to know me close, when your heart goes, la la la, la 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 la. Just can't get you out of my head. Boy, your loving is all I think about. La la la,
La 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 la.
La 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 la. I just can't get you out of my head, boy. Yeah, oh my God, it was so good to see Kylie. She's just an icon, and she doesn't age. And I tell you what, the gays absolutely loved her.
Well, we certainly hope you enjoyed our back-to-back Pride here in LA and West Hollywood. We certainly had an amazing time, but it would be remiss if we don't really mention the historical context of Pride. I think we talk about Pride every month during June, and from an historical context, what really originated Pride was the Stonewall riots in New York City. Police used to raid a lot of the gay bars back in the day, and in 1969, that's when we said enough is enough. So a lot of the LGBTQ community members at the time said, we're gonna fight for our rights together with our allies. And so the following year was actually the very first Pride Parade, and the year after that was where it started to spread all over the world, including cities like London and Paris. And to this day, all over the world, we now celebrate Pride in many regions and in many countries. But also important to note that it's not yet safe in every places. There are still countries and regions where it's illegal to be gay,
Yeah.
and it's actually unsafe to be gay. And so we also acknowledge the fact that we are privileged to be living in a city where it's accepted and
Yeah.
it's celebrated. Although, if I do have a side note, sometimes I still feel a sense of safety, right, when I'm with you, and that's just being real in terms of holding your hand and making sure I'm in an environment where I feel safe.
There's so much context, and I'm glad that you touched on a lot of the important milestones. There's so many material out there that you could read and watch just to contextualize some of this stuff. We actually watched a show recently called The Fellow Travelers. It's really about two men just being in love through an era that was very challenging. So it starts off in the 50s and it goes all the way to the 80s. It touches on the really challenging times for the gay community, such as the AIDS epidemic. I mean, just the idea of not being able to express who you love to anyone around you, and then if you were to express your love for your other half who happens to be of the same sex, it was illegal and condemned. I just can't even imagine sort of that time, because we're so free in the way we express our love now. And I think it has come a long way. Yes, we're not there yet, but when I watch that show and then I compare it to a show like Heartstopper on a very mainstream platform, there's so much progress that has happened over the past few decades.
Yeah, and since we're talking about Pride, I'm curious, what was your first Pride experience?
My first Pride experience was in London. I was a teenager. I was 18, 19. When I think of that moment, it was such an experience for me. Just came out. It was nerve-wracking, but I knew it was going to be something really, really special for me. And I just remember going there and I just saw just like a sea of people, and I saw pride flags. I saw literally the whole spectrum of the LGBTQ plus community and their friends and their families just like celebrating. I'm pretty sure I cried because, growing up, I always felt different. Being there in that moment just validated me as a person. And there were so many thousands of people just like me, and I felt so proud. I felt proud of the fact that I had just come out. I felt proud of the fact that I was accepting who I was as a person. So I felt happy, I felt a sense of joy. I have always tried to support Pride in different ways. So whether it's, going to the parade and supporting everybody that's marching, or whether getting involved at work during Pride season, whether through actual activations or just creating a sense of awareness. So that's my Pride experience. How about you? How was your first Pride experience?
Picture this, late 2000 in LA. Backstory, I came out in my 20s, and so it took me a while to finally accept who I was as a person. And so I got in touch with this Filipino LGBTQ community organization in LA called Barangay Los Angeles. It was through that community and organization where I felt safe to be who I was and also volunteer and also participate in LA Pride. When I was growing up, I didn't have sort of any role models or a community that I was able to look up to or see myself reflected. My first year, I was a marcher for the nonprofit org. There was a lot of emotions going on at that time. Felt fear because I just came out, basically, what people would think about me marching. At that time, whenever you walk into a parade, a pride parade, and I'm still seeing that up to today, is you have your counter protest, right? Saying it's a sin and all of that. And so I remember feeling still shame and fear, even though it was my first pride parade, but also I felt a sense of community. Here I was just coming out, but being celebrated by my community and families, and also people who were just watching the parade and saying Happy Pride and greeting everyone. So it was full of love despite the many emotions I was going through on my first Pride parade. It had evolved since then. I've done multiple parade marches, even leading a couple, right? I eventually became president of Barangay Los Angeles, led our Pride Parade featuring Sagala, which is a Filipino traditional sort of parade with elaborate costumes by drag queens, some of which are my friends. And then eventually being more involved at work in our employee resource group, and then bringing my coworkers to LA Pride. So for me, it's been a journey from my very first Pride experience to now. And I just look back with fun memories of how it all started and in my journey in terms of coming out and being comfortable in my own skin.
Never underestimate the power of pride.
Yeah, and that's where you draw your strength from your community, from your friends who show up. I have my friends who showed up multiple Pride parades that I've led. My family showing up. My mom has been there since day one. I think she's marched with me. I can't even count how many parade marches. And I specifically remember this one moment where she was just pointing at me while we were marching and say, "This is my son and I'm proud of him." And so I'm gonna get emotional, but that is a core memory that I'm gonna take on for the rest of my life.
For me, I think my key takeaway is that if you've been out a long time, I think sometimes it's easier to just kind of miss the moment because it happens every year, and you're comfortable and you're okay with the way things are. I still think it's worth going to Pride. I still think it's worth getting involved because, like I said, it's such a powerful moment, and even though there's been so much progress, there's still so much more to be done. Just showing up, turning up, whether you're gay or straight, it really, really means a lot. It moves everybody forward, not just the community, but everybody as society. You don't necessarily have to go to the march, but great if you can, but there's so many ways in getting involved, whether it's donating to a non-profit organization, whether it's just being supportive to your friends and family, or whether it's using your power to vote. You can get involved throughout the year, not just during Pride season. The other thing is that if you're watching this and you haven't come out yet, one thing I would say is just to take your time. Know that it's a journey, and know that everything will be fine eventually, and the people that love you will support you. I also don't want to sugarcoat it, right? Because sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you don't get the support that you need. You think someone will support you and they decide to reject you, even excommunicate you, but it's okay.
It's their loss.
It's their loss. The one thing that you can absolutely do is be your authentic self, because guaranteed, without a shadow of a doubt, if you are who you are and you're proud of who you are, you will be happier. I remember when I came out to my dad, I actually said to him, I don't want to live a double life. I don't want to be one person to you and to our family and then be a different person. And I still stand by that today. You do you, boo. That's what I want to say. You do you, boo. All right, what about you?
No, I love that we're ending our vlog with some of our key takeaways. And I think for my key takeaways, number one, I echo your sentiments around there's a lot of things that we need to do for our community. I look at our Black trans community members who continues to be marginalized and discriminated, and we still have a lot of path and road to cover in order to achieve true equality and equity for our community. And so I want to make sure that that's still front and center. Second is, I think it's important to look at our history because it gives us a sense of why all of this started and why we continue to fight for our rights. And you can see that across the political landscape right now, even in our country. And so I think it's important to know the history because we never want to go backwards to where we were.
Can I just pause you? Can you say that louder for people at the back? We don't want to, can you just say that louder,
I want to move
please?
forward, not backwards. And just let us be, let us love who we love, right? Last thing I want to also share as a key takeaway is the theme around allyship. Being a proactive ally and speaking up, right? And whether it's marching in a parade, joining the protests, or even just creating a safe space in the spaces that you occupy, whether it's using inclusive language at work, in your community, in your family, that already speaks volume in terms of creating that safe space for our LGBTQ plus community members. And so I want to make sure that we continue to also think about what allyship means during Pride, after Pride, throughout the year. That's probably going to be my kind of key takeaways in this Pride season. I remember when we were planning this vlog, one of my thought process was the relevance of Pride and is it still relevant for me and what I fight for in my community and joining the parade and all of that. And when we went, it reignited some of those passion and joy that I find participating in Pride Parade, being surrounded by our community. Thank you for really pushing, right, for us to join and celebrate and participate this year. And it's our first Pride together.
Yeah.
So what a
second.
It's our second Pride. We celebrated Pride in Chicago.
Yeah.
So the first two cities where the parade march first occurred, you've been to now, so.
Progressive. There's a thing that you said just now is like, just let us love who we want to love. Like, it's crazy that we have to fight for that. At the end of the day, we're human beings. We just happen to be two guys that are in love and want to be together. And the fact that we actually have to say, just let us love who we want to love, it's beyond me. But that being said, it's still a fight for many countries. Imagine just for a second if the law said that you cannot be with the person that you love and be open about it because you're going to go to jail. Insane. It's super important to acknowledge the reality of some of our queer communities around the world.
Yeah.
But on that note, we are in love. Woo! And this is the reason why our vlog exists, because we want to share our stories to people and hopefully inspire in whatever capacity to be your authentic self, to just always choose love and kindness every single time. If there's one thing that we want to get out there to everyone, is that love wins. We want to show people that you can be two men and live a healthy, happy, loving relationship.
Yeah, I agree. But we also encourage all of you to share your stories. I think there's power in stories. Your stories matter, you matter, wherever you are, whoever's watching this. And so the more that we amplify our voices, our different, unique, beautiful voices all over the world, it just creates a community where there's more acceptance and representation in the various spaces that we occupy. When it's safe, if it's safe, we encourage you to share your stories. Tell us in the comment section below your first Pride experience and how it was. What were some of the emotions that you felt?
It doesn't matter where you're from, what your background is, what your gender is, what your sexuality is. Just be your authentic self, right? Love and be kind. You can't go wrong. with that. Okay, I think we're gonna end the vlog here. Hope that was insightful for you all. As Rob said, share your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for supporting us. It really means a lot to us, so thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I'm Ray.
And I'm Rob.
Thank you for watching.
I'll never leave, know that I'll never leave, you know. I'll never leave your side. I know sometimes there are things you don't understand. Broken roads, faded dreams, but trying to find your way again. I'm seeing your tears, I'm hearing your cries, but know that I'll never leave your side. Even in the change, they might walk away, but I promise I'll stay.